Hello everybody, Shalom. It is so good to see you. I'm very excited because today we begin reading stories from the Torah, from our very special Jewish book. And today we're gonna start from the very beginning, from the very first book in the Torah called Bereshit, and the very first chapter in the Torah, also called Bereshit, which in English means in the beginning. I hope you're ready to look and listen and wonder during this story, because I am inviting you into the story with me. You will travel with me through the very first story in the Torah. But I want to start with a question. What is the biggest present you've ever received? Oh, that's a very good present. That sounds wonderful. Oh, you're so lucky. Oh, that present sounds a little different. It's a dog, the puppy. It's a live present. So some presents are alive and some presents are things. Oh, you got this from your grandmother? Oh, it's not that big in size. You're right. So some presents are not big in size, but we think of them as big because they're so special to us. They're wonderful presents. Thank you for sharing with me. But did you know that some gifts are so big that nobody notices them? They're so huge that hardly ever sees them, and that people can hardly see them. They're so hard to see that in order to know that they're there, we have to go all the way to the beginning, before the beginning. So get ready for a story, sit comfortable, and come with me into the story. In the beginning, in the beginning, in the beginning, there wasn't very much. In the beginning, there was nothing, except maybe for a humongous smile, but there was no one there to see it. Then, on the very first day, God gave us the gift of light. So there wasn't just darkness anymore. That was dark and light. God separated the darkness and light. And I don't just mean the light in the light bulb or the car lights at night. I mean, God gave us the gift of light that all the other lights come from. God looked at the darkness, God looked at the light, and God said, "This is good, Zeh Tov." There was evening, there was morning. That was the end of the first day, Yom Rishon. On the second day, God gave us the gift of water. And I don't just mean the water in the bathtub or the water in the glass for you to drink. I don't mean the water in the lake or a river, the water in the shower, or the water that comes from the sky when it rains. I mean, God gave us the water that all the other water comes from. There was water above and water below. God looked at the water and God said, "This is good." There was evening, there was morning. That was the end of the second day, Yom Sheni. On the third day, God gave us the gift of the dry land. God separated the water from the dry land. God also gave us the gift of all the green and growing things. God looked at the dry land, God looked at all the green and growing things, and God said, "This is good, Zetov." There was evening, there was morning. That was the end of the third day, Yom Shlishi. On the fourth day, God gave us the gift of counting the days, the night and the day. God gave us the big light, the sun, to give us light during the day, and the moon and the stars to give us light during the night. God looked at the sun and the moon and the stars and our way to count days, and God said, "This is good, Zetov." There was evening, there was morning. That was the end of the fourth day, Yom Revi'i. On the fifth day, God gave us the gift of all the creatures that fly in the sky. Not just the birds, but all the creatures that fly. God also gave us the gift of all the creatures that swim in the water. Not just the fish, but all the creatures that live in the water. God looked at all the creatures that fly in the sky and all the creatures that swim in the water, and God said, "This is good, Zetov." There was evening, there was morning. That was the end of the fifth day, Yom Hamishi. On the sixth day, God gave us the gift of creatures that live on the dry land. First, all the creatures with many legs, all different kinds. And then the creatures that walk on two legs, like you and like me, the people. God looked at the creatures that walk on many legs and the creatures that walk on two legs and all the other gifts from the other days. And God said, "This is very good, Zetov me'od." There was evening, there was morning. That was the end of the sixth day, Yom Shishi. On the seventh day, God rested, and God gave us the gift of the day of rest. There is nothing here because everybody has a special place to rest and a special way to rest. It can be in your backyard by a tree, or by the ocean, or a river or lake. It can be in your house or in your room. It can be at the temple. I don't know where your special place is. Only you know that. What I know is that this day is so special that we celebrate it every week by lighting the candles and drinking the grape juice or grape wine and eating the challah and getting together with family and friends and singing and talking and taking walks and having a day of rest. Day to remember all the wonderful gifts that God gave us during the creation of the world and our promise to take care of this world and make it more beautiful. I hope you like the very first story from the Torah. Now it's time for you to share what you were wondering about during the story. And I have a few questions to help you wonder. You can share any thoughts or ideas you want, but there are just a few questions that I'd like to ask you. I wonder, which day do you think is the most important day in the creation story. I also wonder, which day was your favorite? Which day was about you? Which one were you in? I have another question. I wonder if we can skip one of the days and still have a whole world created in the story. I have another interesting question. Why do you think people were created at the very end, after everything else was created? And then people. Why is that, I wonder? Last question I have for you. Remember, after every day of creation, God said, "This is good, Zetov." But after the sixth day, after creating animals and people, God said, "This is very good, Zetov Me'od." I wonder, why is that? Thank you so much for traveling through the story with me and listening and wondering. Good luck talking about it with your grown-ups, in your family, with your brothers and sisters, with your teachers, with your friends at school. I'm really curious to hear what you were wondering about. Shalom v'lehitarot. I'll see you next time for the next story. Goodbye.